Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Sister Wives Season 20 has already sent shockwaves through fans of the long-running TLC reality show, because for the first time in years it doesn't just tease passive-aggressive tension, but it strongly hints that a final reckoning is coming, one that will involve the long-delayed, always controversial Coyote Pass land showdown and, perhaps even more surprisingly, the possibility of long-awaited apologies that could completely reshape how the Browns are remembered in reality TV history. And if there is one thing viewers have learned after nearly 2 decades of watching Kody Brown, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin struggle through the impossible balance of plural marriage, it is that apologies do not come easily, especially from Kody, who has built a reputation for digging his heels in, refusing to accept accountability, and projecting blame onto everyone but himself, whether it was Mary's catfishing scandal, Janelle's independence, Christine's rebellion, or even Robin's loyalty. That he twisted into a weapon against the other wives, and yet, in the teaser, his body language, tone, and choice of words give away just enough to make even the most skeptical fans wonder if the patriarch may finally, under the crushing weight of divorce, estrangement from many of his children, the death of his beloved son Garrison, and the financial chaos of the Coyote Pass sale, be willing to bow his head and admit he was wrong about something, which would be monumental considering the history of this family. The teaser opens with sweeping shots of Flagstaff's snowy mountains, the land at Coyote Pass lying bare and unbuilt, serving as a silent monument to broken promises and shattered dreams, and then we hear Kody's voiceover saying, "It's time we finally put this to rest," while the camera lingers on survey stakes in the dirt. A not-so-subtle reminder that the original dream of building 4 or 5 homes side by side had devolved into years of fights about division, finances, favoritism, and betrayal, and even though Christine officially gave up her share when she left the marriage in season 17, the land has remained a source of bitterness between Janelle, Mary, and Kody, with Robin caught in the middle but also seen as the ultimate beneficiary if Kody has his way. So when the teaser cuts to Janelle saying with visible anger in her eyes, "I'm not going to let him push me out again," viewers instantly know this season will not just skim the surface of land division, it will finally force the Browns to confront the messy details of who owns what, who gets compensated, and who walks away feeling betrayed yet again. Then comes the shocker, a clip of Mary, who has often stayed quiet in group conflicts, raising her voice and declaring, "I deserve more than scraps. I was there from the beginning. I sacrificed just as much as anyone," which not only signals that Mary, who has often been sidelined since her emotional divorce from Kody in season 16, is finally ready to demand recognition, but also that the show is going to give her a platform to rewrite her narrative, and considering her recent distancing from Robin, fans are eager to see whether Mary will align with Janelle in this fight or remain caught between her own grievances and her long, complicated loyalty to the family brand. The teaser escalates by flashing images of Christine and David Woolley, even though Christine has moved on, suggesting that the producers know she remains central to the story. Christine is shown smiling in one clip, but the narrator teases, Christine may be gone, but her influence still haunts Coyote Pass, which could mean that part of the showdown will revisit whether she deserves a cut of the land's recent $1.5 million sale profit, since she was part of the purchase and invested years into the family dream, even if she symbolically handed her share back, and the fact that Christine has found happiness while Kody's world has crumbled only makes her presence in the teaser sting more for him. But what truly has fans buzzing is the emotional turn halfway through the teaser. When Kody is shown sitting alone in what looks like a confessional, his face pale, his voice cracking, as he says, "I've lost so much. I don't know if I can fix it, but maybe I should have said I'm sorry sooner." And while TLC is notorious for editing clips out of context, this is perhaps the strongest suggestion yet that Kody might actually issue direct apologies to at least some of his ex-wives or even his children, and if that happens, season 20 could deliver the closure fans have been craving since Christine's departure marked the unraveling of the entire polygamous experiment. The teaser cuts to Janelle, tears streaming down her face, saying, "I waited years for him to just admit he hurt me," and then to Mary, shaking her head and whispering, "It's too late," before ending with Robin in full sobs, insisting, "I never wanted it to be like this. I just wanted family," which sets the stage for the season to explore whether apologies can heal or whether they come too late to undo years of damage. The land showdown itself promises high drama because the Browns' financial documents, ownership percentages, and the messy process of redivision have never been fully transparent to viewers, and now, with the property sold and profits presumably distributed, Season 20 seems poised to reveal who got what, whether Cody favored Robin, and whether Janelle and Mary walked away with fair compensation or got shortchanged. And this is the kind of behind-the-scenes financial drama that reality TV rarely captures but fans of Sister Wives obsess over, because the land has always symbolized more than just acres of dirt. It represented unity, the promise of a forever family compound, the hope of equal treatment, and ultimately the crumbling of those ideals. With the teaser promising the truth about Coyote Pass revealed, fans can expect confessions, confrontations, and maybe even legal receipts to finally settle years of speculation, and pairing this with the hint of apologies creates a narrative arc that feels almost like the series finale, even though TLC hasn't confirmed whether Season 20 will be the last, but the language of the teaser, Final Showdown, Last Chance, the truth revealed, suggests that at least this chapter of the Brown story is drawing to a close. What makes this teaser particularly explosive is how it juxtaposes raw anger with moments of vulnerability, reminding viewers why they have stuck with this family through scandals, divorces, and heartbreak, because beneath all the dysfunction, there remains the universal question of whether a fractured family can ever find peace, and whether individuals who have hurt each other deeply can ever truly forgive. And if the teaser is to be believed, season May 20th finally give us an answer. Longtime fans are already debating whether Cody's apology, if it comes, will be genuine or self-serving, with some predicting he will only apologize to Robin for dragging her into the chaos, while others hope he will make amends with Janelle and Mary for years of neglect, and perhaps even acknowledge Christine's bravery in walking away. And yet, the teaser makes it clear that even if apologies are offered, not everyone is ready to receive them. Mary's bitter tone, Janelle's exhausted tears, and Christine's absence all speak to wounds too deep to be healed with words alone. But in classic TLC fashion, the teaser also leaves room for hope, showing a brief clip of Cody and some of his children laughing together around a fire, suggesting that reconciliation, however partial, is still possible, and reminding viewers that for all his flaws, Cody is still a father who desperately wants to be part of his children's lives. The Season 20 teaser, therefore, is not just about the land or the apologies, it is about legacy, what story the Browns will leave behind after 2 decades of putting their lives on display, whether they will be remembered as a cautionary tale of polygamy's failures or as a family that, despite everything, found a way to close their story with dignity. And that is why fans are calling this the most explosive teaser in the show's history, because it promises not just drama, but answers, closure, and perhaps even healing, though knowing the Browns, it could just as easily lead to another cycle of blame and resentment. But either way, Season 20 is shaping up to be unmissable television. Mary existing in a state of perpetual emotional limbo, the idea of one big house is a ghost from a distant past. The land, once held in a convoluted trust, must now be divided, and the teaser frames this not as a simple legal transaction but as a brutal war of attrition. Cody Brown, whose patriarchal authority has eroded into brittle despotism, is shown raging, his signature manic energy now entirely consumed by a toxic brew of bitterness and perceived betrayal. He snarls about loyalty and commitment, his words no longer about family unity but about control over assets, reducing relationships of decades to mere financial disputes. This is the final undoing of the polygamist dream, not with a philosophical debate, but with surveyor's maps, property lines, and cold, hard cash. Opposing him is a coalition of women who have found their voices in their separation. Janelle, often the pragmatic and fiscally minded peacemaker, is revealed in the trailer to be at her absolute breaking point. Her frustration is no longer quiet, it is a roar of a woman who has invested everything, her money, her life, her faith, into a vision that has left her financially vulnerable and emotionally abandoned. The showdown is framed as a clash between Cody's ego and Janelle's survival instinct. She is not fighting for a dream home, she is fighting for her literal home, the equity she poured into a family fund that now seems inaccessible. This transforms the drama from a typical reality TV squabble into a profoundly relatable crisis of financial security versus autocratic control, with the futures of these women hanging in the balance. The land becomes a proxy for everything they have lost and everything they must now claw back for themselves. Simultaneously, the teaser tantalizingly dangles the prospect of something viewers have craved for seasons: genuine, on-screen apologies. The most shattering moments in the preview are the raw, unguarded glimpses of Robin Brown, the often vilified fourth wife, finally breaking down. For years, Robin has been portrayed, both by the narrative and her sister wives, as the catalyst of the family's discord, the recipient of Cody's favoritism, and a master of performative tears. But the season 20 teaser shows a different kind of cry, one that seems stripped of artifice, born of sheer exhaustion and the horrifying realization that the world she helped build is collapsing around her. She chokes out questions that speak volumes. What did I do? What can I do? These are not the words of a victor but of a woman trapped in the ruins of a kingdom she supposedly won. The possibility of a long-awaited apology from Robin is perhaps the most explosive element of all, as it would require an admission of culpability that has been utterly absent for a decade, potentially reframing the entire history of the family's collapse. And what of Mary? The teaser cleverly weaves her into this tapestry of finality. Her story arc has been a masterclass in prolonged heartbreak, a woman clinging to the ghost of a marriage for years after her husband had emotionally vacated the premises. The land showdown for her is likely less about the money and more about the ultimate symbol of her release. Selling her share or formally dividing it is the legal, tangible equivalent of signing the divorce papers she never got to sign with Cody. An apology directed at Mary, whether from Cody for his cruel indifference or from Robin for her role in the catfishing scandal and beyond, would be the emotional capstone on her painful journey. It would be the acknowledgement she has desperately needed to finally, truly, walk away and begin her life anew, unshackled from the hope of reconciliation that has poisoned her well-being. The genius of this teaser is